Good evening, everybody. My name is Todd Scholl. I'm the lead learner at the CEWL Center for Educator Wellness and Learning. We are coming to you live from Local Q. It is a restaurant here in the Greenville area, and we have a roundtable of panelists tonight who are education thought leaders here in Greenville County. We want to welcome you all to watching tonight's live stream. We're going to have a conversation about teacher retention, and we're going to have some fun. We've got probably about 60 or 70 educators from the local community here who are either members of the SCEA or interested in being a part of the SCEA. And we're want to thank the staff here at Local Q for having us tonight. And without further ado, I want to go around and introduce the folks here on the panel. We'll start to my left.
Okay, hi, I'm Catherine Schumacher. I am the president and CEO of Public Education Partners, which is a local education fund here in Greenville that helps support educators. We strive to elevate teachers, empower advocates, and engage communities.
Hi, I'm Michelle Goodwin-Cowell, and I am a school board trustee for Greenville County Schools, Area 25, and I am a retired educator from Cherrydale Elementary School. Woo-woo!
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adrian Mays. I am an assistant principal at Hughes Academy here in Greenville, South Carolina. I am also a member of Bold Leadership. We are striving our best to create bold leaders in every community, not just in South Carolina, but across the nation and across the world.
I'm Terrell Brown. I'm an RTI teacher at Cherrydale Elementary School. Cherrydale's in the building. I'm the president of Greenville County Education Association, and I'm glad to be here again with my green vest.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your Friday night to come out and be a part of what we're doing tonight. What we're trying to do is have conversations with thought leaders like you around issues that matter most to educators and most to our members. We know right now that there is an issue with teacher recruitment and retention. What would you identify as one of the biggest causes of that sort of crisis that we're into? We know the SARA supply and demand report came out with a record number of educators leaving the profession and vacant classrooms. What are you seeing? What are your thoughts on why this sort of crisis has emerged? And we'll start here.
Okay, well, from our perspective, I think even before the pandemic, we were already seeing there were issues in teacher recruitment and retention. So we were already seeing some challenges in some parts of the state and the country in terms of getting teachers into the pipeline. Folks aren't signing up to be education majors in college the way they used to. So I think there are a lot of different issues. Obviously, salary is part of it, and respect for the field is another. But I think, here in South Carolina, we're trying to make some strides. We're trying to catch up. But there's a lot that has to happen. And I think it's a combination of factors. I don't think you can point to just one thing. But I think there's a whole bunch of focus. We're talking about it now, I think, in a way. And I think there are a lot of different players who are demonstrating real concern about it. And that means that eventually there should be progress if we keep lifting up teacher voices and educator voices.
From a school board perspective, how are you seeing this crisis?
Well, this has been something that we've been dealing with for a long time.
Right.
Trying to retain the teachers. Recruitment is something, but in retaining the teachers, I got some information from the school district about the survey as to the teachers that are what is important to them and why we have so many that's under 5 years that are leaving. And it used to be that the first thing was that they didn't feel support. They needed support from the administration, from the district, in their classrooms, all across the board. And now it's with the pay. So we have increased the pay. For Greenville County was one of the first ones to increase the pay for incoming teachers to $40,000, and the rest of the state followed suit. Greenville County is the largest district in the state, and so a lot of other districts followed suit. So we to retain our teachers, we've got to make sure that we are very supportive and give them the tools they need. The mentors, the veteran teachers that are these master teachers, they need to have mentors when they come in, because we have so many that are leaving that think that they feel like that they are alone.
Yeah.
But they need good mentors, because this is a very good profession for them to stay in. But of course, the shortage is a big thing.
Right. And you I know you have Sarah's supply and demand report out there, very alarming numbers. And as you said, this is not a new issue. This has been a growing issue. If you go back and look at the historical supply and demand reports, you'll see that this is a trend that has happened over the past several years. And it seems to me as though there hasn't been a real strategic way of addressing this, and it just keeps getting worse. So obviously what we're doing is working as a state.
Well, if we had the legislators, if they would support the schools with fully funding our base student costs instead of taking money from the public schools, that would help.
Absolutely.
The legislature and see. And I'm looking at the numbers this year. It's like a 21% jump.
Yeah.
And the teachers that are under 5 years that are leaving.
Yeah.
That have left. So we need some support from the legislators too. Not just the school boards can do it, but we have to work with what the state gives us.
Sure. Adrian, thoughts?
So I definitely agree with everything that has been said so far. From inside of the school, I can say that a lot of the things that I see from my teachers and hear from the teachers that I work for and support come from, it ranges from student behavior to community support, all different things like that. A lot of times our teachers they feel like punching bags, if I can be honest with you. They feel like they have to take the brunt of everything that comes to them. So in the school, we have a variety of resources that we try to give our teachers to, because our students have various needs. And as time progresses, those needs, they seem to increase, right?
Right.
So our school district and the community that, provide resources to the school, we try to give those to our teachers and say, hey, here are some resources that can help you to make your classrooms better, so on and so forth. But our teachers, they feel like it's just a lot. It's just a lot of work in the classrooms, and so they feel a lot of pressure. And then while they're trying to do a good job at the things that they're being asked to do, a lot of times they don't receive the necessary compensation that we were talking about, and sometimes they don't receive the necessary support from parents and community and so on and so forth. Yeah. And as for me, I'm a very relational person, and whereas I try to build a relationship with you and I try to understand where you're coming from, I also require your support and what I'm trying to do for your kids. At the end of the day, the work that we're doing is about the kids, and it's for the betterment of the community. So teachers feel like in my classroom, I'm trying to provide the best support for you. I'm trying to provide the best education for your child, but a lot of times they don't receive that support in return. Behaviorally, I hear a lot of, again, I mentioned the resources. Obviously, the pay is a big thing, but our teachers just need love, and they need to know that we care about them, and they need to know that we are backing them 100%.
Yeah. I look at, I started my teaching career in 1995, and I went to work for Sarah in 2011 and spent 10 years on their senior staff. And now I'm working with the CEWL, and I go back and I'm in buildings a lot, speaking with teachers and seeing how their working conditions have changed just over those 10 years since I've been in the classroom. And I see more and more being asked of them with the same amount of time and resources. And with inflation, a lot of them are having to take on second, third jobs because they're trying to make ends meet. Like there are folks I know in Mount Pleasant, for example, where their rent went from $1,500 a month to $2,000 a month, but their pay didn't go up $500 a month. And so now they don't have the money to pay the rent, so they're having to move. And this is a huge issue when you have to take on, when teaching is already demanding a lot of you. It demands a lot. And then you're having to take on a second job to pay your rent just to get by.
Yeah, just to live.
You're worn down completely to the nub. And I think that's where we're struggling to hold on to people. They're like, I can't sustain that level of work and be there for the kids the way that they need
because
to be.
It takes a strong level of engagement, and teachers literally pour out their heart to these kids. Like, the students are in school from 7:30 to 3:45 every day. They spend a large portion of their day with these teachers. I hate to say it, but we become like their parents.
Yeah.
We try to love them and take care of them just as their families would at home. And so whenever we do all this work during the day, and then we have these things on our heads, such as not being able to afford housing, not being able to, eggs are $7, all these different types of things, it becomes difficult. And teachers, they literally start to look for other professions to where they work less hours and make more money.
But I think it also looks different. I mean, I think it's important to make a distinction that this challenge looks different in different places and different communities.
Yes.
I mean, it's a different challenge in Greenville. It's a different challenge in parts of Greenville. And if you look at different schools, different kinds of communities that they are serving, and compare Greenville or Charleston to Fairfield, or Fairfield, they're building housing because it's not affordable housing. It's that they don't have enough housing.
Right.
And so I think that what's really critical to think about as we work on this is that we need to focus as much as possible on creative local solutions, resourced with collective public dollars. I mean, I think that's the thing, is that I think the danger is that we, the legislature, in good faith, I'm going to give them some credit in some ways, good faith efforts to do this, if they're too prescriptive and say, everybody needs to do this thing, I don't know that will actually solve the challenge. And, I think a lot about PTAs. Think about schools in Greenville that don't have a PTA. So when teachers, like the love that you put on a PTA, a great PTA can put on, Hughes has a fabulous
PTA,
right?
over at Hughes Academy.
That's exactly right. And, but there are schools in Greenville that do not have that. And so that's sort of that morale boosting, the breakfasts, all of that sort of little thing, but showing love on the teachers. That's what Public Education Partners, that's a big part of what we try to do, is step into that space. But I think we need, as a community, to think more holistically about how do we fill those gaps in those kinds of supports.
I agree.
Terrell, I want to bring you in, president of the Greenville County Education Association. It's always good to be here in the upstate with you.
The upstate loves. The upstate is the real deal.
Yeah.
The biggest factor, as I talk to a lot of teachers, is they feel like they're overstressed and overworked, and underpaid. I got several examples because I constantly talk to teachers 0 to 5 years of experience, and they always tell me that it feels kind of tough for them to kind of compete with friends because their friends are making more money than them and they work harder than their friends. Now, this is a new generation, so you got to factor that in. This generation is different than the last generation. Their thing is they want to compete with their friends and have fun, go places and things like that. Well, it's kind of tough when you have to make that factor between paying $1,200 rent or going on a vacation. You want to get a car, that's about $300-400. So it's that stress of having to work extra jobs, standards, curriculum, kids sometimes, and the community. Are you getting a lot of support from your community? I'm not talking about the community outside the building, we're talking about inside the building. Do you have a successful mentor? I try to talk to many teachers that possibly teach. And as you see, look out in the audience, there's a lot of teachers from my school. Because I try to mentor them, give them a voice, let them vent if they need to vent. Because a lot of times they hold stuff in. Yeah. And when they start holding stuff in, that's when they get frustrated. And that's when they decide, you know what, this is not for me.
Right.
So the thing is support, and support.
Right.
Everybody wants something good to say. Everybody wants something good to be said about them. Y'all ladies look good tonight. Y'all start smiling, don't you? So if somebody says, you're doing a great job, some teachers will be like, okay, cool, I think I can do it. So it's just the minimum amount of support, just constantly boosting their self-esteem. If you don't do that, they're going to get frustrated thinking they can't do it. Because words do matter sometimes. It really does.
Mr. Brown, you said something that, I really try to hone in on as an assistant principal, and that's building capacity within my school and with the teachers that I serve. Everybody wants to have a sense of belonging. Everybody wants to feel a part of something, right? And a part of the organization. And so I think it's important as school leaders, as community leaders, that we build capacity within the people in which we serve. Finding the things that they're good at and making sure that they know that we see that they're good at those things, and finding ways for them to show that amongst colleagues, amongst the school, amongst the community, so on and so forth. And you know, compensation is something that we can talk about, but nobody at this table really has control over the pay, right? Well, there's somebody who got a little power.
Miss Caldwell. Miss Caldwell.
You know, and if you know me, since I've been on the board, I've always said that the teaching profession should be the highest paid
100%.
profession in the world.
100%.
Because you know, all of these other people, everybody has that favorite teacher that they knew, right?
Right.
That took them in the right direction. But my thing is that we need to streamline a lot of the paperwork.
Right.
Because, you know, like she was saying, it's different from one side of the town to another side. It's different from Title I funded schools and regular ed schools, because you have a lot of different paperwork for those federal funds, for the special revenue funds,
Right.
that they have to do. But we need to streamline some things, and like I'm saying, I'm going to keep going back to the legislators, because they have different bills that are they're trying to go through. Well, they probably put it through, but it's putting more on the teachers.
Yep.
You know, they need most of these legislators have not been in a school in 50 years. They need to go in and see what's going on in the schools, because they are the ones that's making the laws that we have to follow.
Based off of what they heard, not what they've seen.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to go and visit the schools to see what kind of stress they put on our teachers and our administrators. Because they are down there making these willy-nilly bills, like the one that they've got, where the teachers are going to have to do this some kind of parent form or something. I mean, you know, come on now, they got enough to do.
Right.
The teachers have enough to do.
And
why do you keep putting more and more on them?
That's right.
Let them teach.
Right.
Let them get in the classroom and be creative and teach. That's what they went to school for. Them people down there in Columbia didn't go to school for education. And that's obvious. You know, I'm going to tell you, that's who I am. But let the teachers teach. They had a passion to go into education in the first place. Let them teach.
100%. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it's important. So on Monday, the state teacher recruitment retention task force is going to be here in Greenville. It's an opportunity for teachers to listen to her. I think one of the things we really need to do a better job of is how do we support educators in advocacy? How do we make educators feel safe in advocacy? How do we train them to be effective advocates? Because it's about relationships. It is about leadership, inviting elected officials into their schools. It's about having conversations. You know, I'm in that sort of relationship building space, and it is hard. It is hard at a time when you know some good things are moving forward. There's some good things moving forward in Columbia. There really are. But then there's some stuff that it crosses each other out, right? It's very hard to maintain hope and maintain optimism on the advocacy front. But I think we have to. And I think the personal storytelling of teachers, of administrators, of leaders, of educational leaders, finding the way to get those stories out and have honest conversations. But also, I'm a parent. I've got 2 kids in Greenville County Schools. I've got a freshman and a junior at Greenville High School, go Raiders. And they're in the basketball upper state championships tonight as we speak. So I think there's also a really important role for parents who are supportive of public education, who are supportive of educators, who understand how critically important our public schools are to the infrastructure of our communities, to participate and to pay attention. And that's what organizations like Public Education Partners are really dedicated to about. PTAs, the PTA, that's what part of the role of the PTA mission. So I think it's important for all parents to lift their voices up to support our public schools.
Oh yeah, and I want to say something too. I'm so proud of the community right now. As you see it's a nice group of people here in support of it, pro public education. And we invited everybody to come out. And I didn't know we was gonna get this big of a crowd. You know, it's noise in the back, but it's a good noise because people care. Because the thing, in 2022 was a lot of negative narrative going on about public education. And as you can see in this building tonight, you know, everybody is just supporting the cause that we're having. You know, we got great panelists. You got Ms. Caldwell, you got Ms. Schumacher, and you got Adrian with bold leadership. Public Education Partners does a lot of great things to support teachers. Ms. Caldwell, we go back to 2001. She's always been a fighter. She's the one that taught me how to fight. Well, not like that, but I mean, advocate. She's the one that taught me how to advocate.
Advocate, not fighting. Advocate.
Advocate. She was the one that made me realize that you have to advocate if you want something. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you got great leadership in Greenville that fights for teachers, but we just need to make sure we get this community involved and give real talk and stay on, to make sure the camera hears me. Stay on your local legislature. Please contact them regularly. Look at the camera, right?
Build a relationship with them.
Build a relationship. Is one candidate that loves to talk about his grandkids. I'll let him talk the whole time. That's a relationship. Because I know as soon as you how your grandkids do, and he'll just talk. But the thing is, it's a relationship. Relationship taking place in money camp. And if you don't tell your story, somebody else will tell your story for you. You know, I'll tell them any story I hear from a teacher that's scared to talk about issues that affect them. I'll let them talk. Go with Caldwell.
Yes, I'm all about them advocating. The parents, the teachers, you know, build that relationship with your legislators. They need to speak up and let them know the great things that we got. Great public schools.
Right.
Public schools are, I mean, we've got every school has great things going on. And so they need to advocate for that. They need to let them know we've got great schools. We've got, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them came out of public schools.
Right. Because the narrative right now around public schools sometimes is being driven by the people who aren't in the schools, who are hearing things or just passing along misinformation. And teachers are so busy and they're also sometimes humble.
Right.
And but it's really important, I think your point, that educators reclaim the narrative around what's really happening in our schools, because there's so many wonderful things, relationships that are being built, programs that help young people, and successes that we have. That should be the narrative.
Yes.
And that's what should drive what the public perceives is going on in schools.
Yeah, well, you know, in today's time on the news, all you hear is the negative stuff.
Right.
I mean, I would hope that the news would have a segment on all of the wonderful things that are going on in our communities instead of all of the negative stuff. But sometimes I don't like to look at the news because all you see is negative. So, I mean, you know, do a story on the wonderful things that are going on and feature a school a week, a school a month. I mean, because we have so many wonderful educators, administrators. We've got so many wonderful. It takes a village to run a school.
Right.
We have wonderful custodians, the cafeteria staff. It takes everybody in that school. And you know what? They build relationships with these kids. And the relationship building. You know, we can build relationships with our legislators, with the ones that are really making the decisions about the different funding. But our schools are wonderful. All of our schools are wonderful. They have wonderful things going on with them.
So let's do that. Let's spend the next question is going to be, what is something you've seen here in Greenville County that you want to celebrate? Whether it's a school, a particular educator, an achievement, what is something that we want to celebrate that's happening here in Greenville County?
You want me to go?
Go ahead.
First of all, in Greenville County, I'm just so happy that, like you said, the collaboration and the relationship really goes well in Greenville County. These school board members are some of the nicest school board members. These Catholic public education partners, they are some of the nicest people to work with. If they see a need or if you ask for something, they will try their best to make sure you reach out and get an answer for you. I'm so proud of my school board. The thing is, I'm trying. A lot of them will tell you they don't know everything if they don't hear anything. So I'm very proud to be in Greenville County. The area is booming. I mean, poor trees. There's no trees around here no more. I mean, because people are coming from out of state. And yes, I do talk to everybody at the Waffle House or any diner that I can. How you like Greenville? What are some of the things you like about Greenville? And you know what the common answer is? The school.
Yeah.
And you cannot knock that. I mean, we made significant gains academically post-pandemic, and not too many people even know that.
Yeah.
Our schools are the bomb. I love working up here. You know, everybody keeps saying, come back down to Charleston. Ain't gonna happen. No. My mama over there, she keeps saying, why don't you come on back? No, it ain't happening. I love Greenville. I mean, the city is changing. The people are really nice. So anybody who want to work in Greenville County School District, this is one of the nicest places to live. The school district is awesome. You have great leaders that will try to teach you to be a better leader. And if you want to be successful at what you want to do, come on down. Come on up. 864-355-3100.
I think the HR director of your district wants to get you on board. Adrian.
Oh man, I think I echo that same sentiment. There are many places I probably could apply and work and try to build a community. But I am so fortunate and thankful to be in Greenville County Schools. You talked about the relational piece of it all. I've established some amazing relationships with some amazing people who are fully vested in ensuring that our students and our communities are receiving the absolute best support and the absolute best education that they can. And that means a lot to me, right? We always have to remember our why. Why did we get into this field? And so it feels so good to be surrounded by individuals who know their why and who remember their why and who encourage each other to continue to do this work. Greenville County is, of course, the largest school district in the state of South Carolina, and we are very resourceful. So right now there's a big push to support our multilingual students, and there's a big push to support, students of color and so on and so forth. All students, all means all, right? And so we really have to take a step back and look at what all truly means. Like if we're going to support all students, then we have to put in resources. We have to put in a strategic plan to support all students. That's not something that you can just roll into and it just happens. It has to be a strategic plan, and you have to have people in place who are willing to do the necessary work in order to make it happen. That requires people being open-minded. That requires people kind of looking at themselves and saying, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe I can learn from somebody who doesn't think like me, who didn't grow up like me, who doesn't look like me. And I believe that we have individuals in Greenville County who are willing to do that, who are willing to sit back and say, you know what, I might not know it all. Let me learn something from you. Let me hear from you. Because when us adults, we figure that out, that mindset then trickles down to our kids, and we can show them that you matter. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. You matter, and we're going to do everything to ensure that you have the absolute best education possible. And so I love working in Greenville. We still have some work to do. We're not perfect. We're growing just like everybody else. Like this is a race. We're trying to figure it out. But I truly love working here because I think, step by step, day by day, we're doing what's best for kids as best we can.
Thoughts?
So I'm going to speak. I'm the only non-educator in this conversation. So I'm coming here as a proud graduate of public schools in South Carolina. I grew up in Spartanburg 6, went all the way through the public schools. As I said, 2 boys in the schools. And so the work that I do at PEP is personal and professional. I say that all the time. I think your point about relationships, Greenville is really good at relationships. And I think that that's a real plus. You know, in Greenville County Schools, we have a position that is dedicated to managing community collaborations. And there's some really innovative collaborative initiatives that happen. We have the On Track Greenville program, which is, you know, really extraordinary investment in some of our, you know, high need schools in the district. I'm going to tell a personal story, though, a good news story. So, as I said, I have two boys. They are blessed in all the things. They go to a great high school. Beginning of the second semester, I got an email from my son's English teacher saying my son had been misbehaving. So, you know, it's the worst possible call. Yeah, I know, it's so embarrassing. Maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, I got an email from the same teacher, and she said, I just wanted to tell you, I wanted to take time out of my day. She didn't say this, but I knew this. She took time out of her day to send me an email just to talk about what an extraordinary student my son was, and he'd written this great essay. And then I got a call from an assistant principal. Took time out of his day to call a parent, to build a relationship with a parent. That's extraordinary leadership. And we have teachers and administrators top to bottom across Greenville County. And every parent, our job at Public Education Partners, the role of Greenville County Schools is to ensure that we have those kinds of educators and that they are supported top to bottom across our district. And furthermore, to then model that for every other school district across the state of South Carolina. I love the state. I went away and I came back because I wanted to raise my children here. And I knew that we could, you know, go to the public schools and be close to our family and all of those things. That's the work that we do, and that's what I do every day. That's what gets me up every morning and excited about what I do.
Awesome.
Why Brown always smiling when I get the mic?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did reach out to the district and get some information as to what we're doing in the district for retention. And I'm gonna read some of that stuff off. We have the new teacher induction and mentoring, community partnerships with people like PEP, competitive salaries and inclusive benefits package, employee relations specialist, employee assistance program. You know, that's when if they're having some kind of mental issue or something, that we have an employee assistance program that they can go through.
Right.
Greenville County Schools social media pages featuring our employees. So people, they probably don't know that. We have Facebook page. We have all kinds of social media that they can go on and see about the great things that some of our employees and the kids are doing. The South Carolina student loan forgiveness for critical needs, subject areas and critical needs geographic area, public service loan forgiveness, state-of-the-art facilities and abundant resources, HR partnerships with district teacher cadet programs, and I know that the superintendent was talking about they are really going into the high schools now to try to recruit some of the students to get into the teaching profession.
That's right.
And that's a good thing. Professional development opportunities, district support for certificate and recertification programs. Yeah. So, you know, we have different people coming from like TSC, not out of the regular ed programs, from the colleges and stuff. So we have different alternative programs. Like our program in Greenville County is GATE. PACE is the state program. But Greenville County made program GATE, something like the PACE program. That's where if you have a business degree where you can get your certification to come teach. If you know, if you are in business and you want to go into school districts to teach. So those are alternative programs that we have to try to get people from the business community. You know, they might had a passion. They wanted to be a teacher, but they went into another business. Hey, come on over.
Right. Well, I want to thank all of you for your time tonight. Before we leave, I want to just give you one last opportunity. If you have any comments of anything that's on your mind about teacher retention that we haven't covered yet or something that you want to mention before we sign out, I want to give you one last round. We'll start over here with the GCEA president, GCEA.
All day, every day. Teacher retention, and this message is for the community. To the community of Greenville, please make sure, if you're in the field of education, please make sure you contact your local legislator on a regular basis. Everything is political. Get that right. So if you say you don't want to be political, you're getting defeated already. Make sure you take your time out, put in your zip code. It's on the school district website. Put your zip code in, find out who your local legislator is, find out who your local school board member is. Get in great dialogue. If there's resource that's needed, please contact and let them know. You got Miss Schumacher with Public Education Partners. They're a great resource. Greenville County Education Association. If you're getting that $300 check, guess who helped gave it to you? The SCEA. So everybody is out there to help, but if you don't ask for help, you can't get help. Next time there's an election, I don't care if it's an odd year or even year, participate. Because when they see you don't participate, that's when you get left out of the game. So I'm going to sign off right now and have a good time because my mama here. But thinking of y'all, if y'all having any trouble with teacher retention, please reach out to a veteran teacher. Please do.
I have a couple things I want to say really quickly before we sign off. I reached out to some educators just to get some teachers to get their idea of teacher retention and what might make it a little bit better. And these are just some ideas, money. A few things that they mentioned was some potentially increased monetary, so teachers get some money in the beginning of the year for their supplies and so on and so forth. So we talked about, teachers not having enough money throughout the year. So maybe if there was something that we could do statewide, local, to increase those funds so teachers wouldn't have to pull so much money out of pocket to take care of, the supplies needed for the school. Another idea that I thought was cool was free lunch for teachers and free lunch for teachers' kids. You can't pay them more, but maybe we could take something off of their plate, right? Also, childcare is a big thing. I know some districts are looking at childcare for teachers, maybe at a reduced cost or even free. So teachers' kids go to a specific place located in the school district to where those kids are taken care of, maybe by high schoolers who are looking for credit hours,
teacher cadets,
beta club, find some way to be creative, so that maybe teachers, again, we're taking something off of their plate. And then last but not least, I think one of the biggest things is, as I mentioned, teachers, they need love. Educators need love, and they need to be taken care of. They need to work in a healthy environment. They need to ensure that their administrative team loves them and sees them as individuals, not just as workers, but as family. I love, my seventh grade team, the entire school at Hughes Academy in Greenville. One big family. I love everybody there. We have a great community. My mother always said, a poor frog gonna praise his own pond, right? So I really love where I work and what I'm able to do there.
Thank you, Adrian. I want to give a shout out to the Bold Leadership Network. You can look them up on Facebook.
Bold is a choice.
EJ Anderson from Bold just walked in, so hi to EJ. And that Damon Qualls from Montague Elementary is watching and commented. I know Carlos Grant, several really great leaders.
Shout out to all the guys of Bold and everybody that supports Bold leadership in Greenville County and the Upstate and across the United States.
That's great program.
Okay, I'm gonna give a shout out to some people that, some legislators that's in my district, in my community. William Jones is our House of Representatives representative for District 25, and then I saw Chandra Dillett, who is for District 23, that came to support tonight. But what I want to tell people is that, especially the teachers, you need to advocate for yourself, for what you want. It's time out to be silent. It's time out. We need to start advocating more and try to, I know you're doing a great job in the classroom, but I want you to be more vocal outside the classroom as to what you need They let us know what they need, but let them know what you're doing in the classroom. Advocate, advocate, advocate is my thing. So my last thing that I would like to say is that we have a good school board, and we're getting ready to go into the budget process for next year. And this is a year that we're doing our strategic planning.
All right, y'all.
For our 5-year strategic plan will be coming up this year. So y'all let us hear from you.
All right.
She ain't gonna
let
say
us
it
hear
again,
from
y'all.
you.
She ain't gonna say it again, y'all.
Salary increase.
You get your salary increase, but one of the things that I would like to be passionate about is we need to get affordable housing for our teachers.
Yes.
For our people that are in the school districts, because I mean, the rents here in Greenville have gone out of the roof,
Right.
you know. So we need affordable housing.
Right.
So
Thank you.
thank you for
right.
having me.
You're welcome.
I'll be quick. Gratitude. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the educators that this position has given me the opportunity to get to know and to see their work and to build my ability to be an advocate on behalf of teachers, support staff, admin, bus drivers, everybody. It takes a village. It takes a family. Relationships first in public education, and that's public education partners. It's in our name. So we're really proud to stand with all sorts of organizations locally and statewide to lift up this sector and to lift up educators.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You wanted to mention Union House?
Oh yeah, we got we addressed the problem, but when it came to housing, we have somebody in here. Hey man, you want to hear from me?
So this is affordable housing.
He has a project dealing with affordable housing. If you want to let him speak right now. Oh man, you want to get on the camera?
I can.
Let's give it. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, he has a project that he's trying to help out with the Union House, trying to help with affordable teaching houses. So that was a problem that we talked about a long time ago, but Matt reached out to me and was thinking of an idea. So Matt, you want to let it go? Tell him about it.
Yeah, happy to. So we're building 4 houses right now. This is kind of the first project that we're building with the idea of it being teacher housing specifically, workforce housing in general, but the idea that we can kind of change the business model in order to keep it close to downtown, close to where people are working, and at the same time keep it affordable. So the way we're doing that is within each house, which is a little bit over 3,000 square feet per house. Each has 6 bedrooms, but each one has its own private space. It's more of a suite, more of a small apartment that has their own bathroom, their own workspace within it. And then there's shared communal space with that. So within each house you have that. So it's kind of a way to back into a bit more density within a house and do that in neighborhoods where people want to live. And so each teacher, whichever group of people are living there, I think that's a way to just really without the need to have a bunch of subsidies and invest a whole bunch more money. It's still more affordable for each person.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And that kind of goes to your initial comment about trying to find local solutions and cooperating with different partners to solve the issues that underlie our retention crisis. And that's a perfect example of how we can do that. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate Melody Bollinger, who is the UniServe director for the Upstate, who coordinated tonight's event. Here, I want to thank the folks at Local Q for hosting us tonight, for allowing us to be here. We've got dozens of members of the Greenville community here, the education community, and we thank you for tuning in tonight. If you are not currently a member of the SCEA, we invite you to look at the bottom of your screen. You can go to jointhescea.org or text the word join to 48744. We would love to have you, and we will see you on our next live stream. Until then, come on up to the upstate. If you're in the area, come by Local Q, join us. And again, thanks to all the guests tonight.
Greenville is in the building, y'all. Greenville County is the best. Come on down to Greenville, South Carolina.
Take care. Have a good night.
Don't tell my mom I was cutting up.